Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another Abyss and Imaginarium Theater review video. Today we'll be taking a look at the 5.4 version of the Abyss and Imaginarium Theater, or the February 2025 version. Last time it was a hellscape because the Abyss was just fully Natlan packed and it was just hell to go through, and the Imaginarium Theater wasn't much better. So what the hell are we gonna follow up with? I mean, the banners are looking free of Natlan, so maybe things are actually kinda good. So, let's begin with the Abyss. If you can guess, it's a pretty easy Abyss compared to 5.3. I mean, it's gonna be tough to beat the shitty Natlan hell of that Abyss. And once again, we have buffs on floor 12 like in 5.3, and this will most likely stay since they buffed the enemy HP in the Abyss, so they will use these buffs to somewhat counteract that. But you know very well, they will use specific buffs for the banner characters, and sometimes they will be used for plenty of characters, and other times they will be useless for anybody else. Funny thing is that we were able to predict future banners, new or reruns, through the Abyss buff screenshots that you see when you enter the Abyss. They changed them because of that, but now these buffs are going to do the exact same thing if they are specific enough. Anyway, floor 11. 11-1 is back with a monolith defense, and a pretty easy one. The first half has Cryo and Pyro Slimes alongside basic Hilichurls, while the second half contains Fontaine Mechas, but they appear one at a time, and there's 3 of them, making it a very easy monolith defense overall. 11-2 continues the easy chambers with mushrooms on the first half because they want to cater these halves to Mizuki, and the second half has a Natlan Automaton followed by a Fatui Electro Hammer and a Fatui Pyro Slinger. Reminder that these guys from the beginning of the game, from the release, have not been adjusted, so if they get their shields up, you will need Cryo and Hydro respectively to kill them, or Brute Force damage, since this is 11-2. You have the extra time, but if you don't want to waste your time, use the aforementioned elements. And 11-3 finishes off with an interesting batch of enemies once again. First half catering to Mizuki, and second is kind of recently made. The first half of 11-3 is chock full of the Fontaine Sea creatures with their elemental shields, and just one Anemo character or some sort of rainbow team will easily deal with them. But reminder that the shields don't reduce their damage taken, so you can very easily kill them before the shield is gone. And the second half contains an Electro Lava Churl and 2 consecrated beasts, the Hydro Crocodile and the Electro Scorpion. These all can put up a fight, even in 11-3, but they also appear one at a time, so the danger levels stay very low. But you might be pushed for time, mainly because of the amount of enemies on the first half, if you didn't bring a proper team. So all in all, this floor 11 is pretty basic. Don't get alarmed because of the element Chaos that is the first half. As said, they want to cater to Mizuki, and she is a swirl character, but this means that any Anemo will obliterate these chambers, and the second halves can be a bit annoying, but you just need a Cryo character for easy dealing with the enemies, and well, Kaya is free if you haven't invested at all on Cryo characters. So, on to floor 12. So first and foremost, let's check those buffs, and if you guessed they were made for Mizuki and Ryo, you would be correct, even though Ryo is not in the fucking banners yet. Anyways, that's what they get for, changing when the Abyss resets. Fuck you! The first half gives you a massive 600% buff on swirl damage, and the second half gives you 75% damage on cryo charge attacks, which is for Ryo, and the only other character that can benefit from this is Ganyu, which is a much lower amount of characters compared to the previous Abyss with the pyro normal attacks. I don't know, grab a Chongyun and try some funny stuff if you want, I guess. So those are the buffs, let's get into the chambers. 12-1 begins pretty easily. The first half has Eremites. There's 9 in total, appearing in waves of 3, but they are not the spirit spawners, so they are pretty easy to deal with. Although them being Cryo, Hydro, and Electro can lead to a bit of freezing stun locking, but you should be fine. Especially if you bring, of course, a Bennett or something to cleanse the elements. And the second half just has Ruin Guards and Ruin Graders, and while they do appear one at a time, which is annoying, in plenty of waves, they are so basic with small HP pools that they should not be a problem at all. So 12-1 starts very easily, honestly. 12-2 then. Well, since they wanted to make the Abyss cater to Mizuki, we've managed to get a ventiable Abyss in years, and ladies and gentlemen, the first half has a total of 22 enemies, ranging from basic Hilichurls and Metachurls to the Hilichurl Rogues Hydro version. Yeah, the number is very scary, but because most of that is a bunch of basic Hilichurls and the Metatrolls aren't much either, the actual number is 4 Hilichurl rogues. Just grab a bit of AoE if you don't have or can't use a Kazuha or a Venti or any Anemo with good amount of CC. Xiao can easily obliterate this chamber, so again just grab a strong CC Anemo or AoE and you won't even notice that you have killed 22 enemies. The second half, though, has the experimental field generator, where I don't understand why it's here, since it doesn't help anybody do charge attacks, and the buff doesn't work on plunge attacks, so why the fuck is it here? I know it's Risley's boss, but why? It makes no sense. Other than that, it has appeared many times in the Abyss, and even lately so. Just have plunge attacking, just have fun plunge attacking with characters that normally can't. It's not a tough boss at all, just be careful with your timings on those plunge attacks so that you don't get hit by the shockwaves. And finishing floor 12 and the Abyss, in 12.3, the first half just has 4 Ruin Drakes of the non-flying type. And the second half has the freaking solitary Swanee back from the previous Abyss, and in the later chamber at that. Like it or not, you will need cryo for this, because not stunning this idiot by freezing it will waste much time. Yeah, it will do an attack that you can just use swirl to stun it, but unless you have a highly invested team, you simply won't have enough time for the kill. To recap some of my problems I have with this boss, the hitbox sucks for one, ask any Hu Tao user. It has unnecessary animations for its attacks that move its hitbox, so even if the attack won't hit you, you can't hit back because of the floaty animations. And that's floor 12. Because of Mizuki, all the first halves are exceptionally easy and ventiable, which is amazing. I mean, except for the Ruin Drakes, but still. And the second halves, except for 12.3, are also very, very easy. I mean, who could have guessed that without any Netland characters in the banners or enemies in the Abyss, it isn't insufferable? And that leads us to Imaginarium Theater, where this month we got Pyro and Hydro and, my goodness, Anemo. Holy shit, we've got a good combo of elements. Wow. The opening characters could be better, honestly, but could also be much worse, so I'll take them. They were Hutan with a proper build, Gaming with also a proper build, Mona with a fine build, she could run Emblem instead of Noblesse, but that is very much acceptable, Xingqiu, who isn't running Emblem once again, Venti and Heizu running Viridescent, and of course, unlike the Dundro characters not running Deepwood. But yeah, not a bad cast, it could have been a Candace again. A candy's nuts fit in your mouth again situation for a Hydro, so I'll take it. As for the bosses though, oh no, fuck's sake. We have the Fatui Operatives, the one with the Bond of Life shit that love to parry and teleport around, and it is both Anemo and Cryo variants first, followed by the stupid Pyro Bird from Natlan, and of course, the motherfucking Papilla! I mean, is it impossible to kill with Natlan characters? No. But should it be here? No. This boss sucks no matter where it is placed. And then the max difficulty finishes off with the PMA, which is unfathomably easier and basic compared to the cancer that appears before it. All in all, thanks to the actually good element combo, things are much more tolerable, but this is Imaginarium Theater. If RNG decides to fuck with you, it will, and it will suck. Anyways, and the reaction buffs that they added are absolutely not noticeable in the slightest, especially in a reaction such as Hydropyro Swirl and Vaporize, so yeah. And that's the Abyss and Imaginarium Theater. Abyss was easy, as we examined, and Imaginarium Theater was better than before, but the mode still sucks, especially if I see the stupid fucking Papilla in the boss lineup. And that's it. As you can see, it was very, very quick video because there isn't much to say here because it is so easy. They wanted to make Mitsuki. She is a completely swirl character whose kit is literally to just float around and not do anything. So, what enemies are you gonna put in the Abyss in order to help a character that literally doesn't even do attacks? She just floats there and just automatic shit. So the Abyss just ends up incredibly easy. And then they just put fucking Swanee in there because you're gonna play Ryo, I guess. like that's about it. So yeah, and speaking of that, next up should be the Risley review. He of course should appear before all of the events are finished, so the character review should be before the version review. But reminder that it's February, and February has less days, so there is a good chance we will end up with another 5.4 Abyss and Imaginarium Theater review somewhere between those videos, so don't be surprised if you see that. Anyway, like the video if you liked it, sub to the channel to help it out, and I will see you in another video. Goodbye.